Hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges, the daily show that equips leaders and their teams to achieve their greatest potential. This show is sponsored by the CLC team, and they provide leadership and communication training in a variety of ways. Find out more about them at clcteam.com. Hey, hope you're doing great today. And today, I have some somber news to tell you that you actually may already know about. And I'm going to provide you with the solution. So, unfortunately, we, or the entire world, has a leadership crisis. Leadership, from the highest levels to the lowest levels, has a lot of holes in it. And when I say holes, I mean serious deficiencies. The lack of leadership and poor leadership in many cases is causing many companies, both large and small, and some countries to have serious issues. However, there is hope out there, and it's with leaders like yourself who are willing to continuously learn and grow to become better leaders who will ultimately turn this thing around and resolve our leadership crisis. Now, there are probably many reasons you can list that can point to the cause of our leadership crisis, but this just didn't happen overnight. This was a slow fade that happened over the past 20 or 30 years. Some of the reasons include lack of training, lack of reliable mentors, selfish attitudes among leaders, leaders who are looking out just for themselves and don't really care about their people, organizations promoting team members to be leaders simply because they're good workers, but don't have a speck of leadership qualities or knowledge. And another reason is, leaders are focusing strictly on the bottom line numbers and not their people who are their greatest resource there are. And, I can go on and on with other reasons, but I'm going to stop right there because the bottom line is we lack strong leadership in many of our organizations and countries. One of the biggest reasons for lack of leadership that I have experienced over my career is that many leaders, they simply lack the courage to make a decision. And that is what I believe is one of the biggest factors to resolving this leadership crisis that we're in. Leaders must start making crucial decisions. So let me explain 2 reasons why I believe leaders have lost their courage to make decisions. First of all, companies and organizations are training their people inadequately. Instead of training somebody to increase their strengths, they are training everyone the same exact way. And many times, this is simply to get them better at something that they don't have natural ability to be great at. Sure, they can be taught to do something. We can all learn something, right? But learning is not being good at something. When we are being taught something that is a weakness of ours, we're never going to be great at it. Whenever anyone is trained to do something that is not in their strength area, they will become average at best. They will never reach their full potential because they're doing something that they're not naturally skilled at. And every individual really knows this deep inside. Think about a time when you had a specific job, but you really didn't like it or some of the tasks that the job included. You knew how to do the task, but it wasn't a strength for you. I'd be willing to bet that you just weren't as good at the task as some other people, or you spent a great deal of time trying to get better at it, but you just didn't have that natural ability to be great at it. And it drained you. It sucked the life out of you. And it lowered your confidence, even though you may have kept that lack of confidence somewhat hidden. It simply was not an area of your strengths. When leaders find themselves in this position, they lose courage. The second reason I believe leaders have lost their courage to make decisions is that they are put in a leadership position without the natural ability to make decisions. Sure, they can learn to make decisions, we all can, but it will take an exceptionally long time for them to be adequate at it, and they won't be as confident as they need to be. And therefore, they lack the courage to make the decisions. Now, I know this may sound bleak, but there's a way to turn it all around, and that's to focus on the skills of decision making at the lowest possible levels. This will create an environment where people understand the importance of decision making with the things that they're responsible with early on in their careers. This is going to continually develop throughout their career, and when they get to the point of being eligible to be a leader, man, they're going to be much more confident in their skills to make a decision. Even though it may not be a natural ability that they have, they're going to have the skills that have been developed over years. When it comes right down to it, leaders need to have the courage to make the decisions that are required at the level of responsibility that they hold. And this courage is developed long before they become a leader. Decision making skills need to be intertwined into all their training from day one because it's the most important skill a leader must have. Now, if you're listening to this and you're a leader that lacks confidence, or you have people in leadership positions who lack the courage to make decisions, man, don't try to force yourself or your people to make decisions because that's only going to make matters worse. Instead, start confiding in peers and observing other leaders. Start working with your people. Start encouraging them and complimenting them on good decisions. Ask another leader to mentor you. Swallow your pride and admit you are nervous about making certain decisions. And then ask them to help you become more confident in your decision making. Now, I know that's not an easy thing to do because as a leader, it's difficult to swallow that pride and ask for help sometimes. But you know what? We are in a leadership crisis, and that takes tough decisions and courageous acts by leaders. So do whatever you have to do. Hey, I know I went a little longer than usual, but this is something that I am very passionate over because I have been there. And you know what? Sometimes certain decisions can be scary. Sometimes you won't know all the answers. I get it. I know it. I've been there. And it's during those times when your team members are looking at you to lead them, and you need to make a decision. Have the courage to make that decision and stand behind it. Use your knowledge and experience, seek guidance if you can, and make the decision and stick to it. Don't waffle around a decision because that'll lose the respect of your people. Just look around at the leaders you respect. I'll bet they are decision makers. And I'll bet they don't hem-haw around decisions. They make a decision and they stick to it. And don't worry, because you know what? You're going to make bad decisions from time to time. And that's when you're going to learn and grow. Putting an end to this leadership crisis we have all starts with you and me and our ability to make decisions. Hey, there's no doubt that my decision-making skills have definitely increased because of being in masterminds. And I had opportunities to walk through tough decisions with a group of people who would give me relentless feedback sometimes. This group cared about the decisions that I was struggling with, and their feedback was simply priceless. Don't forget about the current mastermind that begins on April 1st, less than a week away. For more info, please visit clcteam.com. As always, have a great rest of your day, and thank you for listening. Please join us again tomorrow for the weekend edition, and we're going to talk about making something out of nothing. Until then, run to your challenges.